Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world.
Well, wise man. Well, in the last 4.5 years, that's what they've been calling me. Even though it's been quite a while since we actually had a civil conversation, trust me, it's good to see you, Phil, but things have changed a lot since we last were in the ring with each other, since the last match you had with Brock Lesnar. This is the last time you here. You see, the bloodline is in control now. The bloodline runs things around here, and I was ever so selected by the GOAT, the tribal chief, your tribal chief, and became the wise man of the bloodline. But as a wise man, let me give you some advice. I love you. I really do. So hear me out. I watched you fight The Undertaker. I stood by your side, and I watched you elevate the WWE Championship for over a year. But Roman has done it better and, in a way, somewhat poetic. Anyway, I suggest that you stay away if you want to stay relevant again in the WWE. Speaking of dramatic, Paul, damn, man, you really believe in all this bullshit right now? Seriously. I mean, you putting on a dramatic flair. This is the cinema thing that they were talking about. You really believing in that right now? Listen, this was far from your greatest trait as the greatest advocate of all time, man. I mean, I know your choices and claims were questionable over the years, but what you're doing now is weird. What you've done is reaching on to the what's next, the next big thing. That's your thing, that's your trait. But let's not pretend like I haven't dealt with stupid factions like this before. Like, how many times is Roman gonna hide behind someone else before he actually becomes the GOAT? Don't forget, Paul, I am the best in the world. And that ain't no nickname, it's real life, not some ego booster. It's my name for a reason, and they know it. And that's why I'm back to prove it now. Alright, as a so-called best in the world, and as smart as you are, I think you should rethink your position here. It's basically you versus the whole entire world, regardless if you're the best in it or not. And in this world, we have the bloodline, and they're a whole totally different monarch of a beast than your regular average beast. And not to mention, you didn't even slay that beast like Roman Reigns did. I'm telling you now, as the wise man, it is not wise to challenge them. Think about what Cody, Seth, and even... No, let's stop talking about using wise. Let's how about using the word delusional, maybe. But let me remind you, and not come back to play it safe. I don't care what the other idiots are doing, like Cody and Seth and the others committing career suicide. I'll be the one picking up those bones when it's all said and done, and probably beat Roman Reigns in the head with them. Matter of fact, for the fucking fun of it, actually. But it'll be wise for the bloodline to stay out of my way and ask Roman this. Before his little tribal chief days, he was a little puppy in the Shield, or ask Dwayne if it hasn't put that little creep there. Man, there will be no tribal chief, and fuck your buddy King to be cosplaying a fake ass psycho killer that Hunter can't control. But guess what the difference between me and them? They never danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. Call Roman Reigns. Tonight? Oh, tonight is the night. Everything is within our reach, our grasp. Everything that you said is actually happening. It's actually happening before our very eyes, just like you said, and tonight marks the age of the end for WWE. This is amazing. This time I win in front of the crowd that I deserve. Just like I said, you predicted, my moment is finally here, and it will not happen like last time or the time before that. This is not the Rollins match, and yes, I felt that before, but that fueled me. It reminded me who I was. But I'll do it, just like the prophecy foretold, because you saw the vision. Your greatness within me, your genius is unmatched. But regardless of how old you are, or how young you are, I never doubted you. But they did. They abandoned you, but I never will, because I am your family. I'm your brother, not Cody, and I've proven it. But now, I'll show the world why they should regret ever turning their back on us.
Indeed. Thank you for never abandoning me, Drew. Because you knew the path, the sacrifices. You knew what it takes to become a true warrior of darkness, and you walked it with me. So for that, I'm giving you the kingdom, to my world, the true reality of Project Mazinato. And once it activates after you win, after the Elimination Chamber is over, after I face Rollins at WrestleMania, it all comes to fruition that the end is finally here.
Gentlemen, tonight is a night of reckoning. Drew McIntyre has dared to challenge me for my Intercontinental Championship. And he still thinks he can turn the secretending into something sort of weird sideshow. No. Tonight I will teach him a lesson that I will annihilate him and show him true respect for this great sport. Drew is going to be embarrassed in front of the so very crowd that he thinks he deserves, and I will fail to not disappoint. Listen, Cody, I don't really think you get it, because tonight can literally change everything, especially if Azrael wins the chamber. And not only makes things worse for all of us, but especially for me, having to watch my back for our very own tag team partner at WrestleMania, but also facing the man who studied me, watched me like a creepy little owl in a tree. I care for King, but this is too much, man. Okay, listen, no matter what, I understand. I truly understand where you're coming from, but what happens in that tag team match, I trust him. But the chamber is stacked with a lot of other superstars. You got Randy, Punk, and others, man. You can't control fate or destiny like he really thinks. Oh, this could be like another Austin Theory situation. Trust me, this briefcase can go out to any championship. So take that as a warning for you and your boss. These two go back and forth in the absolute instant 5-star classic, let me tell you, because the things that they do to each other was just nothing but immense pain, immense torture, just to prove that they can win a championship for either a greater good, for a greater purpose, or for one in another's mind, or protecting it from a sacred sport, as a sacred sport in a sacred ring versus a trash phenomenon, a garbage trying to desecrate the sacred sport that one is trying to protect from the other. But as the match is going forward, these two go back and forth. These two go blow for blow, hitting each other with the most immense, intense strikes that you ever seen, until Gunther hits a huge lariat, knocking the head off of Drew McIntyre. But Drew kicks up like a man possessed and hits a huge Glasgow kiss. And then that just makes the match goes up from 0 to 10. And they go move for move, and they bringing on the immense offense that the crowd has been waiting to see from these two, as the immense hatred is showing right here, right on your screen, as they go crazy on the outside. Gunther puts Drew through the table with all the momentum bearing on his side as he's taunting with the crowd, and he hits a powerbomb as they go back into the ring, and Drew possibly kicks out as it goes 1, 2, and then Drew kicks out. And it's Gunther going for yet another powerbomb, signaling for the end. Drew McIntyre fights out, and he reverses it, and he hits a Claymore kick, and that could signal for the end because it's out of nowhere. 1, 2, and Gunther kicks out. Both of these men are spent. Both of these men are basically tired and exhausted, but only can be one winner here. And as Gunther goes for a lariat and then goes for another, he hits 2 of them and is absolutely over. I mean, nobody can kick out of 2 lariats at this point, but Drew McIntyre does, and he kicks out. He can hear Azrael laughing in the back of his head as we speak. He can hear him laughing as he's thinking that he's probably a failure to the cause, that he doesn't even need Drew McIntyre to finish this, but Drew McIntyre says he's the chosen one for a reason, so he's fighting up to get up. And as Gunther is calling him for a coward, they go blow for blow, punching each other in the face, making this match seem more from a match excuse me, into an intense brawl. And as Gunther is trying to go for another hit, Drew McIntyre hit a beautiful Glasgow kiss, and he's setting up for a Claymore kick, but Gunther reverses, but Drew reverses a running boot into a huge net breaker, and he kicks up. And he goes for a Claymore, but Gunther stops all that momentum with a beautiful, beautiful, devastating chop. And he hits a lariat, but Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore out of nowhere, signaling the end, knocking the Intercontinental Champion down on his ass. And he hits another Claymore kick, and he said it's not over, it can't be over. And he's setting up for a third Claymore and hits it. Drew McIntyre not only signals to the crowd that this is the end of the match, but he's not only sending a message to Gunther but everybody else in the locker room that the end is finally here, as he picks up Gunther and hits him with not only one, not only two, but 3 Future Shock DDTs, signaling the historic reign of Gunther and becoming the new Intercontinental Champion in brutal fashion in the 5-star classic. Drew McIntyre wins in front of the crowd that he deserves. In a crowning moment, he achieved a piece of the final puzzle, and it has finally been secured in the end's hands. One piece is left, and Drew has completed his mission. Drew has finally done it. Finally, he has a part of the world in his hands, just like he promised. As Bobby Lashley and Israel start off the match, they have a huge history rebuttal. These two have a huge little mini classic in the middle of that ring as the next competitor is starting to make his way to the ring from the countdown, and it's Kevin Owens. And they use all big moves on each other, and as they all bringing on the history with each other, Israel is the last one standing tall, cheering, having the crowd cheer him on. And Logan Paul is the next one up, but he just watches as all three of them go back into war. And Kevin Owens is the one that gets thrown his way. And as he's getting up, he looks at Logan Paul, and Logan Paul is talking to the crowd. He's not paying attention for Randy Orton to make his way out of the pod. And Randy takes advantage of everyone who's absolutely exhausted and spent and pissing, but Azrael is the one to pick him up and hits him with the huge Twilight Devastation. And that signal for CM Punk to come out, but Randy and Punk stare off, but Bobby grabs Randy Orton out of nowhere, and Kevin Owens and Punk end up fighting on the other side of the chamber, and Logan gets pinned by Azrael, and Logan is the first one out of the Elimination Chamber. Bobby and Randy go out on the other side of the Elimination Chamber, and as Azrael watches, Punk throws Kevin Owens onto the still unforgiving steel of the Elimination Chamber, and after Punk reverses a huge stunner attempt, he hits his own GTS, but Azrael throws Punk into the ring and pins KO as all the mind game tactics are being played by Azrael. Inside that ring, and they decide to say fuck a match. They decide to say let's throw these hands, and they decide to throw absolute mollywops at each other. Fight, ladies and gentlemen, as they go strike for strike, and Randy hits an RKO from a spear attempt on Bobby Lashley on the outside, and as Randy about to pin Bobby, he doesn't. He's distracted by Azrael, remembering everything that he's done, and Randy runs back into that ring and joins the fight, and Punk and Azrael hit a double team move on Randy just to get him out the way so they could continue their fight, but Bobby is back up and he spears Azrael out of nowhere, and CM Punk hits a huge elbow drop from the top rope onto Azrael, and the RKO hits onto Azrael and he pins Azrael, but Azrael out of all of that kicks out and everyone is shocked. Randy Orton RKO's Bobby Lashley as he's distracted from all the chaos, and the GTS attempt is attempted by CM Punk, but he reverses, and the RKO attempt is presented, but he reverses, and Azrael kicks up and hits a huge German suplex to Randy Orton and to CM Punk, and Bobby comes in running at Azrael, but runs into a Twilight Devastation and pins Bobby Lashley, and that sends Bobby Lashley gone and packing, and Randy Orton Randy goes for an RKO again, but Azrael reverses, and Punk's try to hit the GTS on Randy, but Azrael hits a huge knee to Randy, and it's a huge running knee, knocking the Viper down and out, and Punk is in the corner, and Azrael hits a huge buckle bomb to CM Punk, and hits a huge stump to Punk. and Randy goes for the RKO, but he reverses into a huge cutter and pins Randy Orton, and Randy Orton is the one eliminated. And Azrael sits like Punk, and he's taunting Punk on the ground and picks up Punk, goes for a GTS, but Punk reverses and hits a huge GTS on Azrael, and he's going for the Anaconda Vice, trying to make Azrael tap. And it looks like he's fading away, but Azrael is getting angry, and he fights out immediately. He's a nasty 2 devastated German suplexes on the old vintage CM Punk on his neck, and a huge double Twilight Devastation. And it's not over. He wanted to send a huge message that the darkness is here, and he chokes CM Punk out with Roman Reigns' guillotine, and he went, or so we thought. He lets go. He hits another Twilight Devastation, and he wins the match.
Try 'em. We got a gorilla for sale, McGilla gorilla for sale. We got a gorilla for sale, McGilla gorilla for sale. We got a gorilla for sale, McGilla gorilla for sale. Don't you want a gorilla you could call your own? A little gorilla be with you when you're all alone. We got a gorilla for sale, McGilla gorilla for sale. We got a gorilla for sale, McGilla gorilla for sale. Don't you call him a monkey, he don't got no tail. And if he did, then McGilla the monkey would be for sale. With shoes on his feet.